Jim, we'll get on to the broader rates environment in a moment, but just on the banks, what's the outlook for the major banks for the rest of the year, given that rates are so low, even though we did see that bounce a little bit between Friday and today?
I tend to think that it's a little bit dicey for them. They've got the yield curve working against them. They've already got all the contrarians saying that you should buy the banks, so they're not a hated group anymore. And yet they've been persistently underperforming for the last several months. Now, I don't expect them to be a disaster, but I do think that for them to keep moving forward, we're going to need a change in the environment. Either trading is going to have to pick up. The IPO calendar would help, as was just mentioned, but Lyft is really casting a pall over that with the terrible performance that it's had. So I think there's definitely challenges ahead for the banks.
Jim, where is the correct place for the 10-year yield right now? We topped 2.57 earlier, but we're back at 2.5561, 5 or 6 basis points higher than we were early last week. Where should it be?
Oh, that's a very good question. It all depends on your belief in how manipulated the market is because of central bank buying. Now, there's a lot of people that think that it should be much higher. That is the consensus call, that rates will always go higher because central banks have been such big buyers and they're reducing their balance sheets. I happen to think, on the other hand, that it's probably a little bit lower than it is right now where it should be. It is a reflection of weak growth right now, especially because the yield curve was inverted and it's very close to being inverted right now. And it's giving us a market signal that things aren't great. Now, then, it's not giving us a market signal that there's a recession. It is giving us one, though, that there is a bit of a struggle ahead of us. And I do think that that would probably translate into a revisit back to that 233 low that we saw back in March.